In the next few minutes, I would like to take you through our strategic planning, which we support with driver-based predictions that also help us doing what-if analysis using different initiatives, and that we then also use for collaborative planning, which I'll show you through Excel as well, to then ultimately end up with our financial statements. We are now going to use this strategic dashboard to run through different strategic scenarios using different initiatives that we've planned for, and this what-if selection here to generate a mini P&L here at the bottom, which we use to then project into a balance sheet and a cash flow statement showing what the consequences are of our different scenarios that we have been planning. While you're planning on this dashboard, you have further assisting dashboards that will help you to analyze and have a look at what is happening. From here, you can drill down into your P&L dashboard and also your cost center dashboard and also your sales dashboard. So what these dashboards do, they help you analyze your process and what you are planning here while you are planning it. We're going to take in now as a first case the strategic scenario, and we've got a new key account that we're planning next year, which we initially planned as 2 million, but now that we got some feedback from the sales team, we actually now know this key account is not going to be a 2 million deal, but is actually going to give us of our previous year income a 3% total of the total income of the previous year, which is now 4 million instead of 2, and so we're pulling that one in. Let's pull in a worst case scenario where we know from shortage in supply chain there's a minus of 46 million. So we're going to use that to get our worst case scenario in here, and we now want to also generate a best case scenario. But in this case, what we actually want to do, we want to get Paul, a colleague of ours who we asked to plan, and say, listen, Paul, can't you give us your best case scenario of what you are thinking? And Paul is actually going to use Excel instead, and this Excel is directly connected to the database, so also Paul can say copy previous year into here, and he gets the same numbers, of course, but he knows that for August next year, there's not a 70,000, but 150,000 that he's planning, because there's another thing that's happening here, and he's planning at that level. Now, because he wants to continue planning up here again, but does not want this to be overwritten, he can place a hold and say here for the total numbers, he wants to add a 5%. Now, everything will change except the 150. He's maybe going to also say, okay, we're going to also make a new subscription because we have a new service that's coming in. We're planning subscription revenue. He's going to plan that across 12 months. And when he's finished, he can basically save that and go off and tell his colleague, you can refresh. Your colleague can refresh just by pressing F9. He's got his 6 million best case scenario. He can pull his strategic in, pull in the best case scenario here. Maybe also think that there is a move and investment plan in other best case scenarios. And now you've got your best case up here, your worst case down there, and your strategic there. But what we would like to do now as well is to cross-check everything, because what we've done here by pulling in this, we pull in the previous year. We actually want to run a prediction on what's going to happen next year and use AI for that, and maybe plan to use the prediction instead of the actual from previous year. We can start the prediction, and what's happening now is that the AI is, and this is now we're having a look here under the hood, what the AI is now running is using different drivers here. In this case, it's commodities, it is different industries that it uses to do the projection. You get a scatter graph here to see the accuracy, and also an impact analysis here of which drivers have a high impact, but all of these have a positive impact on the prediction of the driver and of the AI. And here you can see the AI is already run its prediction, and now we've got the prediction here. The strategic one was here. We can say, okay, here we've got our prediction, which is very close to what we had in the previous year. So we can instead say we're going to use the AI prediction instead of our previous year. We can also see an upper bound and a lower bound. And yeah, that helps us planning in conjunction with AI. Now, let's say we want to actually run this not against one company, but against another company where we see we haven't done anything yet, or total group, or we actually want to have planners responsible for these different groups, and we actually want to have a look and compare those different companies, and this time we want to do it from Excel again. So what you can see here we've got the total group. This is the one we've just planned a minute ago, and here we've got all our other companies that we also analyze. And what we want to do now is use this Jedox add-in and the modeler here to actually restructure this structure here into responsibilities of different people. And what we're going to do is going to have a look into our legal entities and say, okay, we've got our legal entities here. We want to create a new element, and this is by responsibilities. We're going to add these two to a parent hierarchy. So now that we've got a parallel hierarchy here, now we're going to allocate these companies to Paul and companies 16 to 90. We're going to allocate to Peter. And now with this parallel hierarchy, we can go and update this report. Say we want to say, see these two. And now we've got everything here sorted by total group and then into subcategories for Paul and Peter. And obviously these two have the same numbers, but Paul and Peter can be compared. We can go here and sort these filters in a nested way, so they're sorted from highest to smallest. We can also go here and add a filter, and let's say, for example, we only want to see all LLC companies, to have just a look at these ones here. Now back in the strategic dashboard, if we close, we've actually now have our responsibilities sorted in here as well because of the data model. Now that we've actually done the analysis and now I'm very happy with everything that we've been planning, we want to actually have a look at our balance sheet where we can have the strategic version and compare it against the worst case. We can also have a look at our cash flow. And this time maybe say, instead of strategic version, compare the best case against the worst case. And so we have a complete overview and quick analysis of our planning from our strategic dashboard.